Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is the return of Final Fantasy XIII, Blinded by Light, composed by Masashi Hamzu, someone that I've become a fan of recently. And before I get started, I just want to mention that this is kind of like a follow-up video to my medley that I did a couple videos back. And just let me quickly explain. I was sent a medley from 1 through 15, and I thought they were going to be all the originals in order. They were not. It was like an orchestral mix, and I wasn't really vibing with that because I wanted to, I didn't get to hear the full first impact of the original, so I wanted to do it that way. So that's why we're here. This was in that medley. I do not remember at all anything from that. So in a way, it's kind of like I'm hearing it again for the first time, sort of. So this is requested by Barlai, and yeah, let's just get into it. Final Fantasy XIII, Blinded by Light. Let me fix the volume here before I get going. Let's go. I've heard good things about 13. Soundtrack, I should say soundtrack. Random interesting pause. XIII. But the game is kind of divisive. Ooh. But the soundtrack is pretty good. Oh, okay. I wasn't really expecting metal for like a heavy guitar presence. How long is this? 3 minutes. XIII is such a oddball when it comes to the soundtrack to me. Amazing drum sound. Really good drum sound. Oh, it's already looped. I already forgot how the song started. It might be this part. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. That's good. That's good. Okay, before I forget this thought, because I didn't write it down. As I heard that, I had this kind of wave of kind of memories come through me, and it's when I played Final Fantasy Remake for the first time. Final Fantasy VII Remake was the first Final Fantasy I ever played, and that was about a year ago. And that was, again, my first, real first time, playing it. Not the first time hearing music from the game, but playing it and experiencing it. But it felt like that. It felt that I was, playing Remake, and it had that kind of worldly ambiance to it, but it was kind of metal, but also kind of nice. And then I remembered something, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, I'm not entirely positive, but I think Hamzu contributed to Remake's OST. The reason I'm not totally sure on that is, one, I can't keep track of every game that comes my way, and two, I only know that I do know for a fact that Remake had a collaboration of composers. I don't know all of them, but I feel like some of them came back. Like, for example, I know Nobuo didn't really do much in it, as far as I know, except for like the main theme and the Slums theme, which is the same song. And everything else is just like composers doing his work type of thing. But I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Hamzu's in there. And maybe someone else. There's a lot of people in that game. But anyways, I felt like that and it really gave me that like Remake feel a lot. Obviously this came first, many years prior. I don't know when this was released. 13 was one of the confusing ones for me, because I know there's like a sequel. I'm not sure if you call it a sequel, but from what I know, there's 13 and there's 13 Lightning Returns. I've done a few 13 songs. I don't know if those two are connected, if those two are also the same composer. I just know they share the same number. But 13 is... I've heard so many different things out of this game. I've heard like this kind of traditional like Japanese sounding stuff, which I think was like maybe DLC from what people told me. It was like the Gilgamesh fight. I've heard kind of everything, and I don't know, I wasn't really it's been a while since I've heard 13. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember the last one. I cannot remember the last one at all, but I don't remember it sounding like that really. And what I do know though is that it's kind of like a treat every time I do listen to this composer, because every time I put myself in that like mind state of, you have gigantic shoes to fill, you know, a legacy composer for 10 games, and still come out with some of your own stuff that sounds original and fresh, but still sounds like it belongs where it belongs. That's a big deal, you know. Like I'm sure there's people that prefer certain composers and all that, but like to you know, take the reins, that's a big, you know, that's a huge. And we're talking not just like an established composer, we're talking these games sell millions. This is a huge series, millions of people, not 1,000, not 100, millions. So that pressure is insane. I can only imagine. And on top of that, you have to deliver a score and all that. So don't know what Blinded by Light means, where this plays or anything like that. It did sound like a battle to me. It has a very, well, who knows actually. The tempo kind of hinted at a battle. The melodies, maybe not so much. Sounded a little more lighter. It sounded more exploring. I don't know if this game is open world, if it's kind of like Remake where you just kind of walk around. If it is like that, then I can kind of hear that in like, you know, for example, the this when I think of this, I think of kind of the Yuffie DLC, where it's kind of like that more jubilant sort of, you know, kind of melodies, and that's kind of reflecting, you know, this teenage ninja. But yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of what I got from it. It's really nice to hear violins and you know, electric guitars. I really like the drums though. That kind of really stood out the most to me. But it seemed like to me overall is that this melody is kind of on the stronger side. I feel like this would get maybe stuck in people's heads. Obviously, if it was chosen for this medley that I heard, I would assume that it's either a big deal or really catchy. So what I'm saying is that this song, that medley chose to represent 13. So that's why I'm like, oh, you know, and I could see that, you know, dun dun da da dun. It's got that swing to it. But yeah, let me know more about 13. I don't know anything about it. I just know that the community is kind of like on it, and I don't hear anything about Lightning Returns ever. I feel like I never hear about that game. So I don't know if that's like an expansion or if it's like a completely different game or it's just bombed. I don't know. But the music seems to be kind of unanimous on though. I don't think people have complained too much about 13's music. I've heard people complain about 12's music, but not 13. So, and I have no qualms with it. Anyways, did anyone request this? I don't think. Oh yeah, Bar Life. Yeah. So thank you, Bar Life, for the request, and thanks to you for watching. Everyone that you see on screen. I would not be here without them. Thanks again to you for watching. My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. Take it easy. Have a nice night. Peace.